Good morning and welcome to On the Money right here on WDBO, AM 580, always streaming inside your very own WDBO app. For nearly 40 years, you've heard this company, the Certified Financial Group, offers some wonderful advice to get you to and through retirement on the airwaves of WDBO. And today is no different. It's exactly what we're doing here on this show. And it's a special edition of the show because right now we are live at the 37th annual Spring Fiesta in the park right there at the corner of Eola and Robinson. If you want to come say hello, if you've got a question for the team at Certified Financial Group, they are currently in their high quality, high production, very exclusive studios there at the team at Certified Financial Group. But we got an open mic here for you if you want to talk, because right now we got two certified financial planners, Joe Bert and Nancy Hecht, joining us today. Joe, Nancy, how we doing so far?
We're doing great, Josh. Good morning. You sound like you're right in the studio there. So you're out in the fields there at the Fiesta in the park, like you said.
That's right. The 37th annual. We're surrounded right now by vendors. There's a taco stand right in front of us that is just rumbling all of our bellies right now. They're not open to the public, but they're open to our noses. And there's some jewelry stands behind us. It's really, really, really exciting here. All kinds of opportunities. And we also have the services of the Certified Financial Group. So come by, say hi. We got open microphones for you and your question.
No, great. Well, we are here. Nancy and I are here to take questions and calls from our listeners, as we have now for nearly 40 years. This is not a 1-hour infomercial. This is the only call-in show on the air on the weekends and all that. So Nancy and I are here to take questions that might be on your mind, things that you're trying to figure out regarding your IRA, 401k, stocks, bonds, real estate, long-term health care, annuities, life insurance, reverse mortgages. All that and more, the things that Nancy and I and the 14 other certified financial planners deal with day in and day out, providing retirement planning and investment management for a fee on Monday through Friday. But on Saturday morning, as we say, we are here for you absolutely free. So if there's anything on your mind, things you've been thinking about, things you've heard, things you're concerned about, we are here. And the good news for you, as Josh said, the lines are absolutely wide open. All you have to do is pick up the phone and dial these magic numbers.
The magic numbers are 844-580-9326. That's 844-580 WDBO. We also have Josh Barber in the studio monitoring open mics. If you send those in, he'll give us a heads up and we'll play them back live on the air. And today, a special third option to join the program. Walk on down to the northeast corner of Lake Eola Park, right there at Eola and Robinson. You'll see the WDBO tent, and we got some microphones open to get the advice from the team at Certified Financial Group. Today's topic of the show is how to turn a Trump account into a tax-free fortune. And as somebody with two young kids, I'm taking notes, guys.
Take the notes. All right, it's your opportunity, Josh. What's it about, Nancy?
Well, first of all, I would like to wish everybody a happy Passover and a happy Easter, seeing as this is a big holiday week. So, okay, so what is a Trump account? I think that's the first place to start. This is for any child born between January 1st, 2025 and December 31st, 2028. The government will dollars for them. The account is fully in the child's name. You have to have a valid Social Security number for the child to have an account. And the parent generally is the sole custodian until the child is 18. You don't have to make any contributions to the account, but you can deposit up to $5,000 a year to the account. And it grows on a tax-deferred basis, very much like an IRA. And it's meant to be used, hopefully, for education or trade school or anything that might be beneficial to help the child when they reach 18 start their life. So, you know, if you are able to add dollars into the account, it could grow, tremendously. You're looking at 18 years for money to accrue on a tax deferred basis. And that's where the difference is. In tax deferred means that all those years it's going to grow depending on how it's invested. It could grow quite nicely. But when dollars are withdrawn, you have to pay taxes on it. We're all familiar with what Roth IRAs are, and there can be a Roth IRA for a child. And that's what this strategy is looking at. Taking the dollars that you have accumulated in this Trump account, which is, again, who's going to turn down $1,000 gift?
Take it while you can.
The government doesn't give much. The government generally takes. So when the government's willing to give something, that could be a big deal. For example, if you never add to the kid's account by the time they're 18, if you're earning a moderate, say 7% a year, then that could accumulate to $50,000.
Not too bad.
Which will help for college.
No.
It's certainly not going to pay for all of college, the way college expenses are going up. But then you have to think, all right, so you have $50,000 available. Let's say the kid has taken some type of modest job and they're in maybe like a 10% tax bracket, and you want to start taking money out of here. Well, it's all going to be taxed as it's withdrawn. So if while your child is young and not working, still just a full-time student, you start converting some of those dollars to a Roth IRA, then very little taxation is going to happen. If the child is under 18, the first $1,350 that comes out of the account from earnings is not taxed. The next $1,350 is taxed at the kid's rate, which may be zero. And then anything over $2,700 that you convert is going to be taxed at the parent's rate. And, you might think, ugh, why do, I'm in a, 18% tax bracket. Why do I want to do that? But if those dollars can then just grow, say you do this when your kid's 2 years old, they turn 18, the account fully turns over to the child, and we've had 16 years of money growing on a tax-free basis. Let's say your kid has scholarships and grants to go to school and doesn't need to tap into this money. And it's another, 5 years or so before they decide that they want to start taking funds out of this. Those dollars could grow to a tremendous amount of money, and all on a tax-free basis. So it's a strategy that, could really go a long way to help you as far as funding money for your kid's college and to start your kid off on the right foot. And then another side benefit when your kid is, let's say, maybe, 8, 10 years old and can comprehend savings. Mm-hmm. And you let them know that you're putting this money into this account, whether you're adding money to it on a monthly basis, a quarterly basis, an annual basis, you're getting your child used to the idea of saving for themselves at a very early age and taking advantage of time. Time is the biggest asset that we have when it comes to accumulating cash, aside from compounding. But even if you're only earning a small rate, maybe 3 or 4%, if you have money that's working for you for 10 years or more, and especially on a tax-free basis, it's going to accumulate to a decent chunk of change.
Yeah, the nice thing about it is, as you said, you can add, the parents or anybody can add $5,000 per year to that account. So you have the account established, it's growing tax deferred until they get to be 18. And if the family or the parents or the grandparents or any, want to contribute every year to that up to $5,000, if you put $5,000 over 18 years, that's another $90,000 growing. And if it's not touched and converted, of course, you have to pay some taxes on it when you cash it, convert it. But that could be set up the child for a fair amount of money when they're 65 years old or somewhere down the road. The challenge is going to be to keep their fingers off of it, because we all remember what it was like being 18 and the needs and wants that we had back then, with the buying a car and buying a home and all those other things get in the way. But once again, it's an opportunity to set up an account early on in somebody's life to get them started. It's too bad that you can't just lock it up for 60 years and give it to them somewhere down the road.
Yeah, and if you do the conversion at an early age, then the taxation on what's accumulated in the account is going to be small. But,
right.
You have to balance the seesaw between wanting to teach your kid to save for themselves, so they can actually pay cash for things as opposed to taking out loans or having to charge something. And then, as you just said, the kid knowing that they have this bucket of money that, they might want to go on a big spring break trip or buy a car or something silly like that that may not be beneficial for what the account is established for. So I don't know. Maybe you just don't tell your kid about the account. Just sign this paper with the tax return.
Well,
and,
I know it's happened to you and it's happened to me. We've had clients set up UTMA and UGMA accounts, when the kids were young.
Yeah.
And they forget to tell the kids, and then you've got to go through that rigmarole when they get to be age of majority and changing
21.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I'm going through that with a couple of clients right now.
Yeah.
And an alternative to this account would be, the 529 college savings account, which grows on a tax-free basis from the get-go.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to necessarily use this for college. The 529 is still a better way to go simply because you get the money out tax-free.
Right.
But you do want to take advantage of the free money that the government is going to give you.
Well, exactly.
Right.
And seed an account. And I mean, there's been a lot of talk about trade schools lately, which makes me really happy because college is not for everybody.
No.
And tradespeople are extremely important. Anybody who owns a home knows that, or
Right.
drives a car, knows that tradespeople are very important. So I'm glad that they're getting the due that is necessary. But there's a lot of licensing and education that goes along with that.
And expense to get that.
Right.
Yeah.
So this account could be the seed money for starting something along those lines.
Yeah. Well, you're right. You're right about education, though. I think our whole educational system needs to be turned around with what's going on in the world today, and there's a tremendous need for people to work with their hands and those skills.
Right.
You remember you and I were growing up; it was a stigma if you didn't go to college. Today, that college is almost a hindrance if you're graduating with a degree that's useless.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, my dad was a builder.
Yeah.
That was something that he, from high school went into. A lot of street education there, which is extremely important also.
Yep, street smarts. You can't buy them. All right, Josh, I hear we're up against the break here. I see on my big clock here. You want to take it away?
I can hear
I'll
the
take
music.
it. If you find yourself here in Lake Eola in the park here at the corner of Eola and Robinson, you will hear the advice from the Certified Financial Group on our speakers walking around, enjoying the area because we are outside at the Spring Fiesta in the park here in downtown Orlando. Lake Eola, the corner again of Eola and Robinson. If you're walking by, if you hear my voice right now and you've got a question for the Certified Financial Group, come on over. We got some chairs for you. We got some microphones for you. Hop on the air, get your questions answered. Or if you're out and about here in Central Florida or listening wherever in the world in the WDBO app, feel free to give us a call, 844-580-9326. That's 844-580-WDBO. You're listening to On the Money, where we're planning tomorrow
Today.
with the Certified.
Ask my colleagues what they thought.
Maybe it's because our history dates back almost 50 years.
Could be because we're independent.
But we custody with national firms like Fidelity and others.
17 CFP professionals under one roof.
Or it could be because we're CFEX certified.
And a real person answers the phone.
In any case, we're proud to have been selected. So if you're looking for financial planning or investment advice for a fee, look us up online. You may be new to the area, but we're not. For more than 40 years, our certified financial planner professionals, acting as fiduciaries and providing retirement planning and asset management for a fee to countless families across Central Florida.
We've been with Certified since 1992.
We're now into the third or fourth generation of clients that have come to CFG and the team here to do a great job.
It's been so long since I've been doing this that I just don't even worry about anything anymore.
We're Certified Financial Group, where we're planning tomorrow, today.
As an investor, you want peace of mind. You need to know that your advisor is not only thoroughly competent, but also a fiduciary. In other words, he or she is acting at all times in your best interests. You need to trust your advisor, regardless of how much money you have to invest or what part of the world you're in. It might not be your money you're entrusting the advisor with. Perhaps you're a board member of a charity or foundation whose future depends on prudent investment. Or perhaps you have the responsibility of making investment decisions on behalf of other people. As the trustee of a retirement plan, the decisions you make can have a direct impact on the lives of your employees. Whatever type of investor you are, the solution is to use an advisor certified by the Center for Fiduciary Excellence. A CFEX certified advisory firm demonstrates its adherence to a global fiduciary standard of excellence, a defined standard with specific criteria covering 21 best practices. The documented, repeatable processes and the evidence-based decision-making that CFEX demands are more likely to generate investment portfolios that match client needs and expectations. And because the firm voluntarily agrees to a rigorous annual audit, investors can rest assured that their advisor continues to work to the highest professional standards. This independent verification is even more critical for trustees and investment committee members of retirement plans who are legally required to conduct regular due diligence on their service providers. Use a CFEX certified firm, and that job has been done already by an expert at no expense to the plan. So why leave anything to chance? Insist on working with investment professionals you can truly trust. Insist on using a CFEX certified advisor.
So you guys don't know Chicago, but I'm sure in your neighborhood you guys have an old school butcher where you walk in and there's a bunch of guys, no gloves, big white aprons, and there's Frank and there's Stevie and there's Mikey. And these guys know more about meat and more about animals and more about cooking the meat than any of us will ever learn. And so you walk in and you say, hey, Lou, I need to, I'm barbecuing this weekend, right? What do you like? And Lou goes to the big racks of stuff he has underneath the glass, and he goes, the veal chops, just in from Argentina, they are the bomb. And you go, veal, oh, I like veal. Well, what do you got on skirt steak? Oh, we got some great skirt steak, just came in yesterday from Montana. Skirt steak is one of my favorite, marinated up a little bit, it's fantastic. Lou will never say to you, Elliot, it's a little long on the meat here, big guy, your cholesterol is getting high. Why don't you go down to the fishmonger a couple blocks and have a nice piece of salmon? Right? He'll never do that. Why? His job is to sell me meat, and I go in, actually the same way I go into the Toyota dealership, because I like Toyotas, and I trust the salesman to sell me a good product if I trust him. And the fact that he's got my interest at heart vis-a-vis my expectations for selling me that thing. By the same token, when I go to see a dietitian, I know she's going to look at all of my labs, she's going to take all the measurements, she's going to run all of her analysis, and she's going to absolutely give me her best thinking on what's best for me. Whether she's a vegetarian or a meat lover, likes this, likes that, if she thinks I should be doing something differently, even if it's not good for her, she's going to give me an opinion that's for my interest. So what's the difference between a fiduciary and the brokers? Well, these are dietitians, these are butchers. It's that simple. Brokers are butchers selling product. Fiduciaries are dietitians looking after your health. The problem is most people think that their butcher is a dietitian.
Hello and welcome back to On the Money right here on WDBO AM 580, always streaming inside your very own WDBO app. I am outside right now for the 37th annual Spring Fiesta in the Park. Our WDBO station is set up for live broadcasting at the corner of Yola and Robinson, the northeast corner of the park, surrounded by vendors. The taco truck is up and running and it is making me hungrier as the show goes on. But right now you are listening to On the Money, brought to you by the Certified Financial Group. Today, we're so fortunate to be listening to the advice and leadership of Nancy Hecht and Joe Bert. If you've got any questions for the two of these certified financial planners, we do have open lines available to you, 844-580-9326, WDBO. Or if you're meandering the park, taking in the sights, looking at all the wonderful vendors, local businesses in the area, and you've got a question maybe about your portfolio, maybe about some future accounts that you can plan for your child, we have microphones available to you. Come on over, sit down, say hi, give us your name, and I'll put you live on the air with the experts. Back to you, Joe and Nancy.
Josh, I need to just correct one thing I said when I was talking about the Trump accounts. One point that I had made is if the $1,000 is deposited and it's never touched, it could grow to $50,000. I said by the time they're ready to go to college, I meant to say by retirement age.
It's still a great account.
Yeah,
And,
I just,
once again,
I didn't want to mislead anybody. So,
and once again, if the parent or somebody adds $5,000 a year, and the employers could also put in $2,500.
well, anybody could add money to the account. It really
Yeah, that's
doesn't
correct.
matter.
Yeah, and 5,000, but the employers also can put in $2,500. There's $7,500 that can go in on top of that. So it could be a substantial amount. In order to get that account, you've got to file Form 4547 with the IRS. So go to irs.gov, Form 4547, and that should get you started on the way. So hopefully that's everything you need to know about Trump accounts, and that's why we're here.
Okay. Josh, back to you.
Got a text
got
question
it.
there, Josh?
Yep, we got a text question. I can hit you with that here as we come on to a news, weather, and traffic break. But Pete in Mount Doro writes in. Pete says, broadly, am I saving enough or just saving blindly? How do I need to think about an answer to this question?
Ooh, what a broad question.
We're all thinking it, right? We're all thinking it.
Start at 10%, from the first dollar that you earn.
Well, we presume he's saving for retirement.
Right.
Okay.
Right. But, at least 10%. I know a lot of people will save to the company match, which for many people is 4 or 5%. And I always think that you should look at that as gravy. But I think 10% is a good minimum to save into something tax deferred and out to your checking, savings, or money market account so you have adequate emergency money, especially as we approach hurricane season.
But this is what financial planning is all about. It's what we do, is look at what you need to have when the paycheck stops. How much will you need in that pot of gold so you can draw from for the rest of your life? And what Nancy and I do and the 14 other certified financial planners do for our clients is we put it all up on the big screen. We look at money coming in, money going out. Where's it going to come from? What are your bills? What are taxes and inflation? And how aggressively do you need to save? And more importantly, how conservatively can you invest and still have a high probability of not running out of money when you're 93? So if you want more information about that, I encourage you to go to our website. That's financialgroup.com, financialgroup.com, and set yourself up for a no-obligation visit. I hear the bumper music. Josh, take it away.
Consider it taken. 844-580-9326 is the number to call if you want to join the program today. Joe Bert and Nancy Hecht, two certified financial planners with a certified financial group, here answering any questions you may have about getting to and through your retirement or maybe future savings for your future inheritance. Again, we got more On the Money coming right up. You're listening to On the Money, where we're planning tomorrow
Today
with the Certified Financial Group, live from the Spring Fiesta in the park.
This is WDBO.
And there's a bunch of guys, no gloves, big white aprons, and there's Frank, and there's Stevie, and there's Mikey. And these guys know more about meat and more about animals and more about cooking the meat than any of us will ever learn. And so you walk in and you say, hey, Lou, I need to, I'm barbecuing this weekend, right? What do you like? And Lou goes to, the big racks of stuff he has underneath the glass, and he goes, the veal chops, just in from Argentina, they are the bomb. And you go, veal, oh, I like veal. Well, what do you got on skirt steak? Oh, we got some great skirt steak, just came in yesterday from Montana. Skirt steak is one of my favorite, marinated up a little bit, it's fantastic. Lou will never say to you, Elliot, it's a little long on the meat here, big guy. Your cholesterol's getting high. Why don't you go down to the fishmonger a couple blocks and have a nice piece of salmon? Right? He'll never do that. Why? His job is to sell me meat, and I go in, actually the same way I go into the Toyota dealership, because I like Toyotas, and I trust the salesman to sell me a good product if I trust him. And the fact that he's got my interest at heart vis-a-vis my expectations for selling me that thing. By the same token, when I go to see a dietitian, I know she's going to look at all of my labs. She's going to take all the measurements, she's going to run all of her analysis, and she's going to absolutely give me her best thinking on what's best for me. Whether she's a vegetarian or a meat lover, likes this, likes that. If she thinks I should be doing something differently, even if it's not good for her, she's going to give me an opinion that's for my interest. So what's the difference between a fiduciary and the brokers? Well, these are dietitians, these are butchers. It's that simple. Brokers are butchers selling product. Fiduciaries are dietitians looking after your health. The problem is most people think that their butcher is a dietitian. So when one of your moms or dads or friends calls the broker and says, you know, I got 200 grand, I sold a little piece of property, or I got some inheritance, what should I do with it? They're going in thinking they're talking to a dietitian, and they're really talking to Lou the butcher.
What is a fiduciary? When it comes to investing, a fiduciary is legally required to act in your best interest. For 40 years, planners at Certified Financial Group have been guiding our local clients toward financial peace of mind. The rest of the world is still catching up, but our team of certified financial planners are the local, experienced fiduciaries you can trust. Certified Financial Group are your Central Florida planners. Call us today.
40 years ago, I had a dream. CFG has been chosen once again as one of the top 100 financial advisory firms by CNBC out of nearly 40,000. And because they won't divulge the selection criteria, I asked my colleagues what they thought.
Maybe it's because our history dates back almost 50 years.
Could be because we're independent, but we custody with national firms like Fidelity and others.
17 CFP professionals under one roof.
Or it could be because we're CFEX certified.
And a real person answers the phone.
In any case, we're proud to have been selected. So if you're looking for financial planning or investment advice for a fee, look us up online. You may be new to the area, but we're not. For more than 40 years, our certified financial planner professionals, acting as fiduciaries and providing retirement planning and asset management for a fee to countless families across Central Florida.
We've been with Certified since 1992.
We're now into the third or fourth generation of clients that have come to CFG and the team here to do a great job.
It's been so long since I've been doing this that I just don't even worry about anything anymore.
We're Certified Financial Group, where we're planning tomorrow, today.
As an investor, you want peace of mind. You need to know that your advisor is not only thoroughly competent, but also a fiduciary. In other words, he or she is acting at all times in your best interests. You need to trust your advisor, regardless of how much money you have to invest or what part of the world you're in. It might not be your money you're entrusting the advisor with. Perhaps you're a board member of a charity or foundation whose future depends on prudent investment. Or perhaps you have the responsibility of making investment decisions on behalf of other people. As the trustee of a retirement plan, the decisions you make can have a direct impact on the lives of your employees. Whatever type of investor you are, the solution is to use an advisor certified by the Center for Fiduciary Excellence. A CFEX certified advisory firm demonstrates its adherence to a global fiduciary standard of excellence, a defined standard with specific criteria covering 21 best practices. The documented, repeatable processes and the evidence-based decision-making that CFEX demands are more likely to generate investment portfolios that match client needs and expectations. And because the firm voluntarily agrees to a rigorous annual audit, investors can rest assured that their advisor continues to work to the highest professional standards. This independent verification is even more critical for trustees and investment committee members of retirement plans who are legally required to conduct regular due diligence on their service providers. Use a CFEX certified firm, and that job has been done already by an expert at no expense to the plan. So why leave anything to chance? Insist on working with investment professionals you can truly trust. Insist on using a CFEX certified advisor.
Welcome back to On the Money right here on WDBO AM 580, always streaming inside your very own WDBO app. Right now, we are out in the elements. We are live at the 37th Annual Spring Fiesta in the park at Lake Eola Park, right here at the corner of Eola and Robinson. All these wonderful vendors walking around. People now, the event officially starts in about 23 minutes at 10 o'clock, but people are out here enjoying the air, enjoying Central Florida weather, walking their dogs, going for a run. If you find yourself in the area, and right now, if you've got a question for the Certified Financial Group, I invite you to come on and say hi. Come over, sit down. I got a chair for you. I got a microphone for you, even some headphones so you can go back and forth with two certified financial planners with the Certified Financial Group, Joe Bert and Nancy Hecht. If you're driving around town right now, if you're listening anywhere on the WDBO app, I invite you to call in 844-580-9326. That's 844-580 WDBO. Back to you guys, Joe and Nancy.
We are here. I see a text question there, Josh.
Of course, we got Deb who writes in from Melbourne, and Deb says, when should I really take Social Security, and what am I giving up if I guess wrong?
Well, full retirement age for most people is somewhere in the 67 range. I mean, for me, it's 67 and 10 months. So there's a certain amount of months, but 67 starts the full retirement age for Social Security. So if you take it early, anywhere from like 62 till your full retirement age, you're taking approximately a 30% cut forever in what you get in Social Security. My ideal for anybody who can afford the time is to defer up to age 70. Every year that you defer, you will get an automatic 8% increase in the base amount. And then if there's any cost of living increases on top of it, that's added on top, added to the 8%. I don't know where else you can get a guaranteed 8% raise just for
plus cost of living.
Right, just for delaying.
Yeah, and that's for the rest of your life.
Right. So, I mean, ideally, deferring to age 70 is the best. If you have other areas of saving or investing that you can tap into prior to that, that's fine. But I think delaying as long as you can is the best thing to do.
Without question. And the thing is, as you said, Nancy, you get that discount or haircut, if you will, if you take it before for retirement age. And if you're the primary breadwinner and you pass on, you've just penalized your surviving spouse.
Right.
So that's the other thing you want to take into consideration. And of course, it's not, if your health has changed or maybe, you don't have a long life expectancy, that's a whole different scenario. But once again, these are the things that Nancy and I and the 14 other certified financial planners deal with in doing retirement planning. We look at what's going to work for you. And how do you bridge that gap between when full retirement age and age 70 when we're talking about deferring? Mm-hmm. Where do you pull from? What accounts do you take from? You take it from your taxable account, your Roth account, your tax-deferred account, and then run some scenarios. So once again, this is what we do. We do retirement planning and wealth management for a fee. If you want more information, go to our website. That's financialgroup.com. You want to add something to that?
Yes, speaking of the website, and seeing as we were just talking about Social Security, I'm going to jump a little bit into the schedule. We do have a Social Security planning basic rules and claiming strategies hosted by Charles Curry happening in our Learning Center on July 18th. That's from 10 to 11:30. Prior to that, there's going to be a workshop on May 9th. Will Your Savings Last a Lifetime, hosted by Gary Abley. Also that one's going to be from 10 until noon. And then on June 27th, Tax Efficient Investing and Distribution Strategies, hosted by Justin Spittler. June 27th from 10 to 11:30. These are all in our Learning Center in our office. If you go to our website, as Joe mentioned, financialgroup.com, there is a workshop tab that you can pull down and make a reservation. Yes, there is no obligation financially to attend the workshop, but they do fill up fast. So if any of these topics sound interesting to you, I strongly suggest that you reserve your spot.
And people say, why do you do that, Joe? We do it for basically two reasons. Number one, to hopefully prevent you from becoming a financial casualty. And secondly, to introduce you to us and what we do as a firm. This way, whether you need our services now or sometime in the future, you may give us an opportunity to earn your business. So as Nancy said, go to our website, that's financialgroup.com, hit the pull-down tab, and you can make your reservation right there. We hope to see you.
And
Go ahead.
I wonder if you guys have this conversation a lot with people, is maybe breaking some bad habits, because there are different stages of life in which everybody seems to be having the same conversation. In your early 20s, it's when am I going to get married? And when am I going to have kids? When am I going to retire when you get older?
Mm-hmm.
And then as you enter that retirement stage, it's when do I start taking security? Is it too soon? And then you start asking everybody, because everybody seems to also be going through the same thing at the same time. And that might lead to a lot of different answers coming from people. And so do people come to you guys with a lot of just, I heard this from my buddy, I heard this from my uncle,
Oh,
I heard this
yeah.
from my nephew, I
Yeah.
heard this from this. And you have to really simplify it for them and say, there is an answer for you, and it doesn't match the same as the answer for your nephew or your uncle. And here is, if you just kind of work with them, and that's what you guys do so well, is you just take that burden of finding out the answer. There might be an answer for you, and we don't have to, well, we can all work together to find that answer, and here's the path.
Well, one thing that's really important in the financial planning that we do for our clients is our expense summary. And looking at your expenses, and the expense summary covers everything, not just basic household expenses, but it's, vacations and
The termite bond.
working out and charitable contributions and personal care. I mean, the stuff that you normally don't think about. But if we want to account for every expense and then inflate it, and then that gives us a good black and white response as to when is the best time for you to take Social Security. How should you start paying yourself in retirement? So the retirement cash flow plan is something that's really important that we do for our clients. And it's just hard facts and statistics based on what they've been able to save and accumulate, and then how they're spending plus inflation and taxes. And it's unique unto the person. And it really doesn't matter what they're hearing on some podcast or what their friends are saying. It's specifically for the client that we're putting the plan together for.
The most important thing we want to do is prevent you from saying, geez, I wish I would have known 5 years ago. And the sooner you get the information, the easier it is to make those adjustments, and the easier it is to get on the right track. So that's what Nancy and I do for our clients. If you want more information, once again, go to our website. That's financialgroup.com. All right.
I always love the, go ahead. Go
I
ahead, Joe.
thought I saw another text question float in there.
Sure, yeah. Before we get to that, I always love the analogy that saving for retirement and saving for general is a lot like dieting. You don't realize how many calories are in that cupcake until you finally put it into your app, and you realize how many cupcakes before. You don't realize how many brand new cars could affect you later in your life until you start realizing that, until you sit down with the Certified Financial Group and say, okay, maybe hold off, maybe buy used this time, because it'll really help you in 5 or 6 or 10 or 20 or 30 years.
I think
that's just the
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think the most important thing is to know what you need to know. Know what you need to do.
Right.
And as we've said time and time again, they don't teach us this stuff in school. We go through life trying some of this, trying some of that, and wake up at 55 years old with a collection of financial accidents because simply they don't teach us this stuff. And the worst thing today is go out on the internet and try to sort all that stuff out. And so this is what we do. This is what we're trained to do. And this is what certified financial planners do. So once again, go to our website. That's financialgroup.com. So I got that text question there, Josh?
You do. If you want to call in right now, we got open lines available to you, 844-580-9326. We're live at the Spring Fiesta in the park, so if you're walking around and you're hearing my voice on the speakers here, come on by and sit down and say hi to Joe and Nancy from the Certified Financial Group. Ask your question. Get some answers. That's what they're doing here. That's what they've been doing on the air for nearly 40 years. Misty writes in from Deltona. Misty has a question about her future. She wants to know, should I pay off my house early or invest that money instead?
That's a very broad question, and I have questions back for Misty. First of all, I'd like to know what her interest rate is, and is it really low? I mean, there's a lot of people that have mortgage rates that are under 3 or 4%, which I happen to think is cheap money at this time. I'd like to know how much of the payment is principal versus interest, and is any of it deductible? Is it helping reduce taxable income? So those are some basic questions that I would ask. if there's some type of windfall or the mortgage has gotten down to such a small amount that paying it off is not that big a deal and the money can be invested, and maybe invested on a tax deferred or tax free basis for 5, 10, 15 years, it's going to mean a lot more of a secure retirement for Misty. But there's a lot of questions, like I said, that I have that go along with that. Her question seems very simple, but it's not.
And I think it's human nature to want to have the house paid for. Psychologically, you want that. But what you don't want to do is be house poor.
Well, yeah.
And people throw all their money in their house, and it's a wonderful thing. But then you end up eating peanut butter because you can't go to
Well.
the kitchen sink, turn on the faucet to get cash flow. It just doesn't work
There
that
are
way.
reverse mortgages out there, which I happen to think can be an excellent tool for somebody.
Yes, they are something to consider. We've used them in the past for our clients, and in the right situation, they're a wonderful, wonderful thing. But you need to understand how they work. So there are a lot of variables, as you said, Nancy, in trying to figure out, should I pay off the house or not?
Yeah.
And then this is where planning once again comes in. We can show you what the opportunity lost of taking money out of some account, particularly if you're going to take it out of a retirement account.
Well, yeah,
That's
and,
probably
and
the worst thing to
actually, we did get a question from somebody the other day who's in their mid 70s.
Right.
Let me find the questions. I'm 75 years old, and we're going to remodel our house. It's going to cost $275,000. I can pull about $200,000 from my retirement account, and I'm trying to figure out if that's the way to go, considering I will have to pay taxes on that, and a combined income is about $125,000. So they're in right now approximately a 22% tax bracket. Dumping another $200,000 on top of that
Ouch.
puts them in a 24% tax bracket. And that's not a 2% increase in taxes. It's more than 2% increase in taxes.
Almost a 10%.
And then, yes. And then at 75, to have $200,000 taken out of your liquid retirement cash and into your home, I don't feel that comfortable with that decision. But I also don't know what other assets they have. I have to assume not a whole lot other assets if they're looking at the retirement account for the remodel. I'm wondering what kind of, interest rate they'd have to pay on a loan to remodel. Again, it's the same as with Misty on her question. I have a lot of questions for this person in reference to what might be available and what the ramifications would be. But right off the surface, I'm saying $200,000 less. Okay, what's it going to leave in your retirement account? And, are you willing to make that tax hit? And can you pay the taxes outside of what you're pulling out of the retirement account, so you're not compounding what you're having to pay in taxes?
Yeah, that's about a $50,000 tax hit on
Yeah.
top of the $200,000 that you want for the remodeling.
Right.
So
right.
you got to crunch that number and see exactly what it does. And then what happens to your Medicare premium goes up
Well,
because,
yeah.
because of that huge withdrawal
And
as well.
Part of what they would be pulling out at age 75 is going to be a required minimum distribution, and dollars are going to have to come out of the retirement account anyways. However, I doubt that $200,000 is a required minimum distribution.
Well, maybe it is.
Well,
If it is,
I'm guessing if the
Yep,
person's
I would
asking,
agree.
it's probably not. But yeah, there's a lot to think about when taking this out, and especially having to use part of that to pay the taxes,
Yep.
and then you're reducing what's available.
I hear the bumper music. Josh, take it away.
You got it. If you want to join the conversation, talk to Joe and Nancy specifically about your question. We got open lines available to you at 844-580-9326. If you're wandering around Lake Eola today, we are live at the Spring Fiesta in the park, right at the corner of Eola and Robinson. We got open mics, literally a microphone that's open for you to sit down and ask the question of these two certified financial planners. If you want to call Charles Curry off the air and get right to the brass taxes of your situation, start your journey to and through retirement with the Certified Financial Group. Call right now, 407-869-9800. That's an off-air number. Charles Curry standing by at 407-869-9800. You're listening to On the Money, where we're planning tomorrow
Today.
with the Certified Financial
That thing. By the same token, When I go to see a dietitian, I know she's going to look at all of my labs, she's going to take all the measurements, she's going to run all of her analysis, and she's going to absolutely give me her best thinking on what's best for me. Whether she's a vegetarian or a meat lover, likes this, likes that, if she thinks I should be doing something differently, even if it's not good for her, she's going to give me an opinion that's for my interest. So what's the difference between a fiduciary and the brokers? Well, these are dietitians, these are butchers. It's that simple. Brokers are butchers selling product. Fiduciaries are dietitians looking after your health. The problem is most people think that their butcher is a dietitian. So when one of your moms or dads or friends calls the broker and says, you know, I got 200 grand, I sold a little piece of property, or I got some inheritance, what should I do with it? They're going in thinking they're talking to a dietitian, and they're really talking to Lou the butcher.
What is a fiduciary? When it comes to investing, a fiduciary is legally required to act in your best interest. For 40 years, planners at Certified Financial Group have been guiding our local clients toward financial peace of mind. The rest of the world is still catching up, but our team of certified financial planners are the local, experienced fiduciaries you can trust. Certified Financial Group are your Central Florida planners. Call us today.
40 years ago, I had a dream. CFG has been chosen once again as one of the top 100 financial advisory firms by CNBC of nearly 40,000. And because they won't divulge the selection criteria, asked my colleagues what they thought.
Maybe it's because our history dates back almost 50 years.
Could be because we're independent, but we custody with national firms like Fidelity and others.
17 CFP professionals under one roof.
Or it could be because we're CFEX certified.
And a real person answers the phone.
In any case, we're proud to have been selected. So if you're looking for financial planning or investment advice for a fee, look us up online. You may be new to the area, but we're not. For more than 40 years, our certified financial planner professionals, acting as fiduciaries and providing retirement planning and asset management for a fee to countless families across Central Florida.
We've been with Certified since 1992.
We're now into the third or fourth generation of clients that have come to CFG and the team here to do a great job.
It's been so long since I've been doing this that I just don't even worry about anything anymore.
We're Certified Financial Group, where we're planning tomorrow, today.
As an investor, you want peace of mind. You need to know that your advisor is not only thoroughly competent, but also a fiduciary. In other words, he or she is acting at all times in your best interests. You need to trust your advisor, regardless of how much money you have to invest or what part of the world you're in. It might not be your money you're entrusting the advisor with. Perhaps you're a board member of a charity or foundation whose future depends on prudent investment. Or perhaps you have the responsibility of making investment decisions on behalf of other people. As the trustee of a retirement plan, the decisions you make can have a direct impact on the lives of your employees. Whatever type of investor you are, the solution is to use an advisor certified by the Center for Fiduciary Excellence. A CFEX certified advisory firm demonstrates its adherence to a global fiduciary standard of excellence, a defined standard with specific criteria covering 21 best practices. The documented, repeatable processes and the evidence-based decision-making that CFEX demands are more likely to generate investment portfolios that match client needs and expectations. And because the firm voluntarily agrees to a rigorous annual audit, investors can rest assured that their advisor continues to work to the highest professional standards. This independent verification is even more critical for trustees and investment committee members of retirement plans who are legally required to conduct regular due diligence on their service providers. Use a CFEX certified firm, and that job has been done already by an expert at no expense to the plan. So why leave anything to chance? Insist on working with investment professionals you can truly trust. Insist on using a CFEX certified advisor.
Welcome back to On the Money here on WDBO AM 580, always streaming inside your very own WDBO app. Right now, we are live at the Spring Fiesta in the Park, downtown Orlando at Lake Eola. Hundreds of vendors, hundreds of local businesses, local food, the smell of tacos walking through our corner of the park. If you want to come on over and say hello, please do so. We'd love to talk to you. If you want to come on over and ask a question of Joe Bert and Nancy Hecht of the Certified Financial Group, you got just a few minutes to do so. But probably at this point, you should write down their office number because Charles Curry is standing by to answer any questions you may have at 407-869-9800. You can call that number now. You can call that number in the next few minutes as this episode of On the Money comes to a close. Again, Charles Curry, a certified financial planner, available to you right now at 407-869-9800. Back to you, Joe and Nancy.
Josh, I want to talk about an event we have coming up that people look forward to every year, and that's our Shred event. This is Saturday, May 2nd, here in our offices from 9 a.m. to noon. We'll have a special truck here. You can watch all of your documents get shredded right in front of your eyes. You can bring 2 bags or boxes of shreddable paper.
You want to say that again? 2 bags.
2 bags or 2 boxes.
Right.
Why, what did I say?
Well, no, you said it right. Some
Yeah.
people show up with a van
Yeah.
or a trailer.
Well, let me tell you, it is cathartic because I just about a month ago went through all my old tax stuff that going back to 2003, and we have a burn box and burned all of them. And oh my God,
Feels good, huh?
watching all that stuff shred and go away and ashes in the air just sprinkling down, you can really feel good.
Yeah.
And you can watch our show. It's going to be live for 2 hours and get some snacks while you're here.
Right. So it's May 2nd.
May 2nd at our offices.
Where are our offices?
1111 Douglas Avenue, Altamont Springs, from 9 a.m. until noon. 2 containers of shreddable stuff, and that's it, please.
Just south of 434 and just west of I-4, right around the corner there. We look forward to seeing you there.
Yes.
And no reservations are required.
Right.
So
No, not to shred. No,
Not
you
to
just
shred,
Have,
not
you
to
just have
shred.
to get in line.
Right, right.
So, and please go to our website, financialgroup.com. You can look at information about all the CFPs that you hear about and hear on the radio, and look for the workshop tab and pull down and make a reservation for one of the workshops because they do actually fill up quite fast.
hope to see you soon. Have a great weekend. Happy Easter. Happy Passover, everyone.
One more time, we got Charles Curry standing by. Take your calls off the air, 407-869-9800. Thank you so much for listening to On the Money, where we're planning tomorrow
Today.
with the Certified Financial Group.